Hello everyone, welcome to my channel again. So in this video we are going to discuss the concept of compound interest. So you can see the simple interest and compound interest. I have already made a video like in which you can get the concept related to it, what is the difference between both. So I'm sharing that link in the description box to just verify, to check out what is the actual difference between both. So in this video I'll just discuss the compound interest part. You may check out here, why does compound interest matter? So compound interest is actually the interest earned on interest only. So this is interest on interest we got. So here I'm just going to discuss an exercise based on NCERT of class 8. So I'm going to solve that exercise. So let's have a look. All right. If a question is like in which you are having a principal, so I'll just take an example. I'll take some values to describe. So suppose I'm taking principal as 12,600 and I'm taking the rate of interest per annum as 10% and the time period is 2 years. And what you have to do here, you have to calculate the amount on compounded annually basically. So if it is given compounded annually, you have to apply this formula, amount equals to principal. Why we apply this formula, I've already described in that video, which I've already shared in the description box. So you may check it out. So the formula we'll apply is this. You can write R in small as well as in capital according to your needs. So this is the formula we apply here. So principal is given as 12,600. 1 plus rate of interest we are having 10% upon 100, and then time period, T is time period, which is given as 2. You can easily solve it. Once I'll just explain how to solve these kind of problems, and then in the future questions, in the next questions, I am not going to explain how to solve these kind of expressions and all. So I'll just quickly write the answer. So here we'll write 12,600. Now we'll just cancel out these terms. You can see 10 upon 100, we'll cancel out this 0. Now in this bracket we are having 1 plus 1 upon 10 whole raised to the power 2. So here 12,600 would remain same. And if you just check the bracket here, we'll take LCM. So 1 we can write as 1 upon 1 here. And if you just take its LCM, it would be 10. So 10 is the LCM here. Now 1 के table में 10 is coming at 10 and 10 multiplied by 1 is 10 again. Plus similarly for the second term, 10 के table में if you check the 10, it's coming at 1 and 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. So this way we'll just take its LCM, and now if we would solve it, you will get the answer as 12,600 multiplied by 11 by 10 raised to the power 2. Now what you have to do here, you will just calculate it 11 by 10 ka square. That means 11 you will multiply 2 times as well as 10 you will multiply 2 times. So when you multiply 11 2 times, it would give you 121. So I'll just write that one, 12600 multiplied by 121 upon 100, because 10 multiplied by 10 is 100. So when you will just solve this part, zeros will cancel out. And if you do its multiplication like 126 multiplied by 121, it would give you the answer as 15246. So the answer of this would be 15,246. So this is the amount. Now if the question is asking to find interest, so what we can do in that case, to find interest we apply amount minus principal. So we are having amount as we just calculated, that is 15,246. So from this 15,246, we'll subtract the principal, and the principal we are having as 12,600. So we'll just subtract it to find the interest. So this interest is compound interest. Mark this. It's not a simple interest, it's compound interest. So we'll just subtract this principal 12,600 now. And once you will just subtract both, you would get the interest answer as rupees 2,646. So this way we solve the questions based on compound interest when it's asking compounded annually. Now, if the question is saying compounded half yearly, So in the case of half yearly, you need not to worry. Just what you have to do here, rate of interest will make it half and time period will just double it, because the question is asking compounded half yearly. So whenever half yearly word is given, half yearly, you just have to divide rate by 2 and multiply time by 2. So here you'll just divide and here you'll multiply. So in the case of rate we divide, in the case of time we multiply by 2 because it's written half yearly. Okay, so let's take an example now. Suppose we are having principal as rupees 62,500. We are having rate as 8% per annum compounded half yearly. I'm not writing, I'm just speaking here. Now time period is given as 1.5 years. Okay, so compounded half yearly they are asking. So I just told you that in compounded half yearly we'll make the rate as half. So rate would be in this case 8/2, that is 4% per annum compounded half yearly. Time period will make it double. So time period would be, here it is 3/2. So we'll make it double, multiply by 2. 2 would cancel out and it would be 3 years. So now you will apply the same formula, but here the rate is 4% and the time is 3 years because the question is saying compounded half yearly. So apply the same formula again. Amount equals to principal 1 plus r/100 whole raised to the power t. You have to apply the same formula. Principal is given to us as 62,500. 1 plus rate we are having 4. Make sure you are writing the new rate, which is half, and the time is 3 years. Now you just have to solve it and you will get the answer. So this way we can do the questions based on compounded half yearly. Now let's talk about quarterly. Suppose it's given quarterly at the place of half yearly. It's not given compounded annually, it's not given compounded half yearly, it's given like compounded quarterly. So in the case of quarterly, you know quarter means 1/4 part. So in the case of quarterly, the same thing will apply. Rate ko will just make 1/4, means we'll divide it by 4, and time will just multiply by 4. In half yearly, we were dividing by 2 and multiplying by 2. In the quarterly case, we'll divide by 4 and multiply by 4. We are having the same thing here. The principal is rupees 62,500. Rate, we were having 8% per annum compounded quarterly, and the time is 1.5 years. Okay, I'm taking the same values. Now it's compounded quarterly, so rate would become, in this case, you have to divide by 4. So it would be 2% per annum compounded quarterly. Time period would be, here it is 3/2, so we'll multiply by 4 and it would be 6 years. So you just have to multiply the same concept here, that is the amount formula. Principal 1 plus r is 2 here upon 100 raised to the power t is 6, and you just have to solve it and get the answer. So this way we can solve the questions like if it is given compounded annually, half yearly or quarterly. Just make sure you are applying the correct concept according to the given question. Now let's talk about the second question, which is given in 8.3 exercise. Question is, Kamla borrowed rupees 26,400 from a bank. So this 26,400 is the principal here. Now what else they are saying? To buy a scooter at a rate of 15% per annum compounded yearly. That means you just have to apply the principal, rate and time according to the question. You need not to do it half and all because it's compounded yearly. Okay. So rate is given as 15% here, and time period is given as 2 years and 4 months. Okay, time period is quite changed here. So how to solve these kind of questions? Let's see. So whenever you are having time period like this, 2 years, 4 months, like we are having to complete 2 years, but 4 months out of 12 months. Okay, so what we can do in these type of questions, just consider the time period as 2 years and apply the formula of amount. We'll talk about this 4 months later. So now here we are having principal 26,400, rate 15% and time as 2 years. Now apply the amount formula, that is P1 plus R upon 100 4 raised to the power t. Put the values. So I'm just putting here, and I'll not solve it completely. I'll just write its answer, like when you are going to solve this part, what answer you are going to get here. So you will get 34,914 rupees. Okay, so this is the amount you're getting for time period 2 years. Now the time is remaining. So 4 months are remaining here. So for finding the interest for 4 months, what we are going to do, the amount which we are getting here, that is 34,914, we'll consider this amount as principal for 4 months. So now this amount actually would be the principal for calculating the interest for the leftover time, that is 4 months. And we'll apply simple interest in this case. So now we are having principal as this, rate as this, and the time period is 4 months. And make sure whenever you'll take time period, that should be in years. So you know 1 year equals to 12 months. So when you convert months into years, you have to divide. So 4 months would be 4 upon 12 years. So I can write this as 4 upon 12 years. Okay, so time is 4 upon 12 years in this case. So let's apply simple interest. So principal multiply by rate multiply by time upon 100. That would mean multiplication form. So when you are going to solve this part, you will get the answer of interest as, that is SI as 1745.7. So this interest you will get. Now what question is asking? Let's read the last line. What amount will she pay? What amount? They are asking amount. Okay. So amount ke liye what you are going to do now? The principal plus interest, you know the formula of amount, right? Amount we know, that is P plus I. P we are having this because this is the principal now, and interest is this because we have calculated it by using this principal. So if you add both the terms here, you will get the amount value, and that is P6659.7, and that would be your answer. So this way we'll solve the questions which are like 2 years, 4 months, like the complete time period is not given in years. So you have to take the whole time period, then consider that amount as principal and apply the simple interest. And if it is asking amount, so principal plus interest, don't add the previous principal, because in this case the principal is 34,914, the amount which you are getting. Okay, so you have to add that principal and the interest with that interest which you are getting. I hope this question is clear. Let's move ahead now. Let's see question number 3 now of the same exercise. So question 3 is saying Fabina borrows rupees 12,500 at 12% per annum for 3 years at simple interest. And then Radha. So they are talking about two girls over here, Fabina and Radha. So what we'll do in these type of cases, because they're talking about two girls, so we'll make two columns over here. So let's make column. So we are having two columns. One column I'm just separating for Fabina, and another is for the another girl, that is Radha. So if you check out the Fabina's part, let's write what's given for this Fabina part. Okay, so here we are having principal as 12,500, rate as 12% per annum for 3 years. And now they are saying simple interest at SI, simple interest. So you have to apply the simple interest formula only in the case of Fabina. So you know the formula of simple interest, that is PRT upon 100. Just apply this formula and solve it. Now let's see the case of Radha. Radha borrows the same amount, that is principal is same here, 12,500, for the same time period. Time period is also same, that is 3 years. This is 12,500, this is 3 years. Rate at 10% per annum. So rate is different here, that is 10% per annum, compounded annually. Compounded annually means here you have to apply the compound interest formula. So just solve the Fabina part by taking simple interest formula, and solve the Radha's part by taking the amount formula related to the compounded part, and then find its interest. So apply the amount formula, that is P1 plus R upon 100T, and then what you have to do, you have to find out the interest, because in the at the last of the question they are saying who pays more interest and by how much. So they are talking about interest. So here In the case of Fabina, no need to find anything else, just you have to find simple interest. And but in the case of Radha, you have to find compound interest because they are talking about interest part, not the amount and interest. So interest will be amount minus principal. So this amount minus the principal, you have to subtract and then you will get the compound interest. So who pays more interest? So in the when you will solve the Fabina's part, you will get the simple interest answer as 4500. This would be 4500 in the case of Fabina. And when you will solve the Radha's part, so amount you will get as this amount I'm talking about. This would be 16637.5 and the interest would be 4137.5. So who pays more interest? You can easily check out. It's 4500, it's 4137.5. So Fabina pays more interest by how much? For that you just need to subtract like 4500 minus this 4137.5. So that would give you the answer like how much more Fabina is paying. So this way you would be able to solve this question number 3, subtract it, and you would get the answer of the more interest. Now let's move to the next question, question number 4. So what they are saying, I borrowed rupees 12,000 from Jamshed. So 12,000 is the principal over here. So let me write, this is question number 4. Principal is rupees 12,000. Now rate of interest is given as 6% per annum simple interest. So just you have to check out the question, what it is asking. Is it asking about simple interest or compound interest? What actually the question is saying. And accordingly you have to solve it for 2 years. So the time period is 2 years over here. Now what it is saying, had I borrowed this sum means the same principal at 6% per annum compound interest. So now they are asking about compound interest also. So what you are going to do, actually they are asking the comparison between both. So if principal, rate and time in the case of simple interest will solve, you will get the simple interest answer. So when you apply the formula of SI in this case, you will get 12,000 multiplied by rate of interest, that is 6, multiplied by time period upon 100. Cancel out. You will just solve it. 6 to the 12, 12 to the 1, 12, 12 the 144 and 1 0 is there. So that would be the interest in this case. Now the question is saying, had I borrowed this sum? Now they are talking about the compound interest in this case. Principal is same at rate 6% per annum. So rate is also same 6%. And then they are talking about compound interest. Now the time period would also be same. That's because they are doing the comparison over here. So you just have to check like in which part they have to pay the extra amount basically. So you have to solve the compound interest part by applying the same concept. PRT is 2 years only. First find out the amount, then interest by applying amount minus principal, and then do the comparison like what extra amount would I have to pay. So whatever amount you would find out for the compound interest, basically the compound interest would be, let me write the answer, it would be 1483.2, and you just have to subtract both and that would give you the answer of this question. So I hope this question is clear. Nothing you have to do, only the comparison between both, and we know how to solve compound interest part. Now let's move to the next question, the 5th one. What it is saying, Vasudevan invested rupees 60,000. So 60,000 is the principal over here, and what it is saying, at an interest rate of 12%. So we are having the rate of interest of 12% per annum, compounded half yearly. Compounded half yearly. So half yearly case, I already told you that rate would become half and time would become double. So compounded half yearly, so rate would be 6%. And let's see the time in this case. So first part my time is given as after 6 months. So but this is not compounded half yearly, we have to make it half like the case of half yearly. So 6 months, first I told you that you have to convert the time period into years form. So 6 months means 6 by 12 years. Now make it according to the compounded half yearly, and for that you have to multiply it by 2. So once you will just solve it, you'll get 1 year as a time. So it's simple now. You're having principal as 60,000, rate of interest is 6%, compounded half yearly, time period is 1 year, compounded half yearly. So now what you have to do, what amount? So you just have to apply the formula of amount. Directly just put the values of principal, rate and time, the new values of rate and time, and then calculate its answer. Now let's talk about second part. What they are saying in second part here. So in second part they are saying after 1 year. After 1 year, but the question was compounded half yearly. So you have to make it double. So 1 multiplied by 2, that is 2 years. Now second part you would solve by taking the time as 2 years. Rate is 6% same. Principal is also same, 60,000. Apply the same formula, but the time would be 2 years in this case. Okay. So let's move to the next question now. Sixth question. Okay, Arif took a loan of rupees 80,000. So we are having principal as 80,000 over here. So this is 80,000. Now, if the rate of interest is 10% per annum, rate we are having as 10%. Find the difference in amounts he would be paying after 1.5 years. So the time is 1.5 years, and they are just asking like find the difference in amounts, means just check out how much is the difference in amounts, what kind of change you are observing here. Basically this is what they are asking related to amount. If the interest is, so what they are saying, interest is compounded annually. Annually mein to there won't be any confusion. Now annually you know how to solve. We are having principal, we are having rate 10%, and we are having time period 1.5 year. Okay, make sure it's similar to the second question here. Time is given as 1.5 years. That means we'll consider as 1 year, complete 1 year, and half year means 6 months, right? So this is the kind of time. So what we are going to do, I'll just repeat it quickly again, like what procedure we are going to follow in these type of questions. So we'll consider the time as 1 year, principal 80,000, rate 10%, and then we'll apply the amount formula and we'll calculate the amount. So when you will just solve it, you will get the amount value as 88,000 by considering principal 80,000, rate 10%, and time is 1 year. Now the time is not over, time is remaining, that is 6 months, that is half year. Okay, so for this part, this amount which we are getting here, this amount that would be considered as principal, rate is same, time is 6 by 12, 6 months, that is 1 by 2 basically. You can take any value, 6 by 12 or 1 by 2. And you have to apply the simple interest formula in this case, PRT upon 100, and just calculate the value. That would be the SI value, and SI value you would get as 4400. P, I'm repeating again, T is 88,000, not 80,000, because the amount which you were getting earlier, that would be the principal in this case. Rate is 10%, time is 1 by 2, that is the remaining time, and upon 100. And once you will solve it, you will get the simple interest as rupees 4400. Now they were doing the comparison of amount, so you have to find out the amount. So in this case, I've already told you amount is principal plus interest. Principal is this, don't take 80,000, I'm repeating again. Principal is this, interest is this, you have to add both, and then you will get the amount answer, and that would be 92,400. So this answer you will get in the first case. Second part is they are saying half yearly. So half yearly means principal would be same, that is 80,000, but in the case of half yearly, what we have to do, yes, rate would be half, so 10 ka half would be 5%, and time would be double. So time was 1 by 2, that is 3 by 2, and its double would be 3 years. So now you just have to take these values, that is 80,000 as principal, 5% as rate of interest, and 3 years time period, compounded half yearly, and then apply the same formula of amount, and you will get the answer. I hope this part is also clear. If any doubts related to any of the question, you may ask me in the comment box as well. So let's move ahead now. Come to question number 7. Maria invested rupees 8,000 in a business. So she's investing rupees 8,000. So that would be our principal, that is 8,000. And now she would be paid interest at 5% per annum. So she would be paid interest at 5% per annum. So rate of interest is 5%. Compounded annually. Annually they are saying. Okay, so we are having principal, we are having rate. Let's check about the time. So let's see the time in the first case, what they are saying. The amount credited against her name at the end of second year. End of second year means both years completed. So the time period would be 2 years in this case. So principal 8,000, rate 5%, time 2 years, and you can calculate the amount by applying the formula of compound interest. That is amount equals to P 1 plus R upon 100 whole raised to the power T, and you can solve it. Now let's see the second part. What they are saying here, the interest for the third year. So they are just asking for third year only. They're not asking the end of third year. They're asking for only third year. So what we'll do in this case, first year, second year, third year. If you will subtract the first and second year amount from all the 3 years, you will just get the third year part, right? So what we'll do, we'll calculate the amount of 3 years. We will calculate the amount of 2 years, and then we would subtract both, and that would give you the answer of the third year. So 2 years ka answer we have already calculated in this first part. We'll just find out for 3 years. So amount T would remain same, 8,000. 1 plus R would remain same, but the time period would be 3 years here. Find the value. Now whatever answer you will get here, and this was the answer you were getting for 2 years, just subtract both, and that would be the answer of the second part. Why we are subtracting? Because 3 years the answer may say if you will subtract the 2 years answer, so you would be left with only third year, and this is what they are asking. I hope this is clear. Let's move ahead now, and we are going to calculate question number 8 now. So let's see what it is saying. Question 8 may what the question is saying, find the amount and the compound interest. So both the things you have to find out, amount and compound interest. So both the things you have to find out here, amount and compound interest on the principal. Rupees 10,000 is the principal here. Rate is 10% per annum, compounded half yearly. Again half yearly. Okay, so rate would become in this case as 5%, and the time is given as 1.5 years. So that is 3 by 2. Let's double it. That would be 3 years. Now, so what it is saying, the interest, like you have to do comparison again. Would this interest be more than the interest you would get if it was compounded annually? That means the answer of the compound interest which you are getting in this half yearly case. So you have to compare this answer with actually the second part of the question, that is compounded annually. So you have to solve this compounded half yearly part, then you have to solve the same part in compounded annually. So principal would remain same here, that is 10,000. Rate would be 10% because this is compounded annually. Time would be 3 by 2 years, that is 1.5 years. And I've already explained 2 questions related to this kind of time. Consider 1 year, then half year separately. And if any doubts, you may check question number 2 again for how to solve these kind of questions in which the time is like this in case of compounded annually. So just calculate the compound interest and then compare. Like would this interest be more than this? You have to give the answer of this part. Okay. Now let's move ahead now. Let's come to the next question number 9. Find the amount which Ram will get on rupees 4,096. So the amount you have to find out. Principal is given as, this is question number 9, 4,096 if he gave it for 18 months. Okay, so the time is given as 18 months. So what we'll do, time we are having 18 months and we have to take time in years form. So 18 upon 12 years it would be. You may cancel out it. 6 3s are 18, 6 2s are 12. So the time is 3 by 2 years basically. Okay, let's move ahead now. Rate is 12 1 upon 2. Rate 12 1 upon 2%. So that is 25 upon 2% per annum. What they are saying, interest being compounded half yearly. Again, this is a question of half yearly. So rate ko we'll make half. So we'll divide 25 by 2 again by 2. So that would be 25 by 4. Don't take it 25 because rate ko we are making it half. Time would be double. So time ke liye 3 by 2 multiply by 2 and that is 3 years. So time is 3 years. Rate is 25 by 4%. And the principal is this, and then apply the formula. So when you will solve it, you will write like this: amount equals to principal 1 plus r. This is r upon 100 whole raised to the power t. You may solve the bracket and get the answer. Now let's move ahead now to the question number 10. Okay, in question number 10, what it is saying, the population of a place increased to. Focus on this word, increased to. बढ़ चुकी है means they are giving the value like the amount value because it is increased. बाद वाला amount they are giving. It's not a principal. So this 54,000 in this case is amount, and we are having this amount in the year 2003. So I'll just write the year separately. To 2000 year they are talking about. Okay, so we'll calculate the time period later at a rate of 5% per annum. So we are having a rate as 5% per annum. Now let's see the first part. Find the population is in 2001. Now they are asking the population of the previous year. That means principal they are asking in 2001 year. So what would be the time period? You may check out. 2003 ka amount they are giving and they are asking the principal of 2001 year. So you can see the gap between 2003 and 2001 year, that is of 2 years basically. So time would be 2 years in this case. So amount, rate, time, and you have to find out the principal. So let's write down amount equals to principal. Principal we don't know, we'll write exactly same. R upon 100 whole raised to the power t. And you have to solve it. How to solve these kind of questions? Let's see. Okay, so what we'll do here, I'll just solve this kind of questions. 54,000 was the amount, principal. 1 plus rate was, let me check, 5% was the rate. 5 upon 100 and whole raised to the power 2. So cancel out 5 and 100 as well as you can directly take the LCM over here. So I'll just cancel out 5 and 100 to make it easier. 5 ones are 5, 5 2s are 10. So here when you will solve this bracket, you have to take LCM. 1 upon 1 plus 20 ka LCM when you will take, you will get 21 upon 20. So this would be 21 upon 20 ka whole square. And this is equals to 54,000. Now when you will just take 20 on the left side, this would be 54,000 multiplied by 20, again multiplied by 20 because this is raised to the power 2, divided by 21 multiplied by 21 because on the right side 21 was in numerator. So just you have to solve it and get the value of the principal. So just solve this part and get the value of the principal. We just discuss 10th question, second part. Okay, in the second part they are asking what would be its population in 2005. So see, now they are talking about the year 2005. You have to find out the population in 2005 and the population was given for 2003. So the previous year population is given, that means this is principal. For second part, principal is rupees 54,000 for second part. For first part that was amount because it was the later thing they were giving. Now this is the previous thing they are giving for 2003 year. They are asking for 2005, which is the next year. So in 2005 they are asking the population, that means you have to find out the amount. And we are having the same rate, that is 5%. Rate is same 5% and the time would be the gap of 2003 and 2005 year, that is again 2 years, and just you have to apply the formula of amount and get the value. Let's move ahead now. Let's discuss the 11th one here. So what 11th question is saying, in a laboratory the count of bacteria in a certain experiment was increasing at the rate of 2.5% per hour. So they are talking about rate here, 2.5% per hour. Per hour means the time would be also in hours. Okay, so let's see whether the time is given in hours or not. Find the bacteria at the end of 2 hours. Yes, the time is given in hours form. So time would be 2 hours, rate is 2.5%. If the count was initially 5,06,000. So initially, focus on this word initially. Initially means they are talking about the previous thing and that would be the principal in this case. So principal is 5,06,000. So we are having principal, we are having rate, that is 2.5%, we are having time 2 hours. So you just have to find out the amount in this case, apply the formula and calculate it. So let's move ahead to the last one. 12th question. A scooter was bought at rupees 42,000. So we are having the principal as rupees 42,000. Its value depreciated. So whenever you will just find the questions like in which depreciated word is given, that means it's decreased. Okay, so in the case of depreciated, just apply this formula of amount. We know 1 plus r upon 100, just at the place of plus mathematical operation, it would be minus. So 1 minus r upon 100 whole raised to the power t. So you just have to apply this formula whenever you would be able to see the word depreciated. Okay. So now in this question, we'll apply this formula. We are having principal and we are having rate as 8% and find its value after 1 year. So we are having time also. So you can put the value directly to this formula and can get the answer of the amount. So this is about compound interest, how to solve the questions based on it. If any queries related to any of the question, you may ask me in the comment box, and must watch that video which I'm sharing, like whose link I'm sharing in the description box, so that your doubt related to the difference between simple and compound interest would get cleared. So if you're liking my video, do like, share and subscribe. Bye bye. Have a nice day.